So cause and effect sounds simple. I think cause and effect. You know, I think cause and effect. You know, logical
stimulus
sense.
Response. One thing causes another. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think this one. The deeper we go into it, and the more meaning it has for us, I think the more power it has for us.
That's a great point
as well.
Yeah.
So, what does cause and effect mean? Let's start there.
Well, I'll start with how I perceive it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, because I think we can only have our own awareness of something.
Yeah.
For me, cause and effect in the context of our own personal experience of ourselves is what do I make excuses for versus where am I getting results? And I just want to say as a caveat, I don't mean by results winning, striving, achieving, hitting goals. I mean more results in terms of becoming the person we know, love, respect, and take care of. That's what I mean by results. Whatever activity we need to do to get to self-love, do it. But the cause and effect, otherwise known as results versus reasons, the result isn't, yay me! It's not a Rocky Balboa thing. It can be. But we only strive to do a thing to get a result so we can have a feeling about ourselves. So when I say cause and effect, what I'm feeling and thinking about it is I can be at the cause for how I'm feeling, or I can be the effect of everything around me and let that determine how I'm going to feel. I can pretend that I'm not responsible for my role in my feelings if I'm at effect. I can pretend. Notice I say that word. It's not I let the world determine how I'm going to feel, and if the world's having a bad day, so do I.
Yeah.
We can pretend that what the world's doing is causing us to feel a certain way, or we can take responsibility for it and realize I'm at cause for however I'm experiencing my world.
Yeah.
That is the choice. And sometimes when I'm in audience, the response I get to that is, yeah, but some people have got it, you don't know. And a really good point. Not everyone's got it good or whatever. It's so true. And whenever I think about that, I think about the book Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, because I really struggle with that as well. And I just think this is a man who's in a concentration camp and faced death every single day, and he found meaning there. And he decided to be at cause, and he controlled influence, the one thing he had control over influence, and that was this. It's how he felt, what he thought, how he managed himself.
Yep.
Nelson Mandela is another example of that. There are so many examples and reference points we can draw from that show us, whatever the scale of the misery, we are still letting ourselves have the delusion that we're the effect of the circumstance, or we're a cause for how we respond to it. And that choice is present to us every single moment. Not always an easy one, I get that. Sometimes it's easier to give into the, it's too hard, why me? God, I can't believe it. I've done that about recruitment just recently. Like, God, when does it get easier? That's me pretending that I'm at the effect of the toughness around finding great people. I'm a cause for how I'm responding to that. I'm choosing that response, which is very indulgent now I think about it, so that stopped. Oops. So cause and effect, otherwise known as results versus reasons. We can call it excuses, justifications, really good reasons. We can polish them up and make them look astoundingly good, but there's still the story we're telling ourselves about why we can't achieve that result. And the extent to which we indulge in the reason is the extent to which the result will elude us.
I think it's something that I know through experience, through experience, like moving through, being an effect and then moving to more to cause. I think it's probably easy to say, and I like what you said about it's probably sometimes easier to be at effect.
Well, then you get to surrender responsibility for changing it. And you get to blame someone. How could they? Why did they? Why didn't they? That can feel a lot easier in the short term.
Yes.
But the problem's still there the next day. And they're not.
100%. And we get so much more. I think we is win the right word, or we receive so much more within ourselves when we're at cause. Why should we do it? Well,
if we choose to, remember what I said earlier, we are at cause always. We can pretend we're at effect, but we're at cause for acting like we're at effect. We chose to feel crappy about it. That was a choice too. If we're at cause, we learn what I think is, science is now showing is the number one trait or characteristic of people who succeed and have a good life, which is resilience, true grit, backbone. There's studies coming now out about this, that the person who can find a way, persist through obstacles, use the challenge as a stepping stone to grow as a human being, they have a much more fulfilling life than the person who got defeated at the obstacle and said, no, this is too hard, no one could expect me to do that, you can't, why would anyone, whatever the blaming language is.
Yep.
So every study is telling us now what we've known instinctively for years, thousands of years, that the person who has the resilience to continue, who's willing to say, I'm going to find a way, I'm going to keep going, I will find how I can change and influence this, has a much better life, because they're adaptable and flexible and building characteristics required to overcome the obstacle. If you want to become the person who you love, if you want to be your own best hero, develop the qualities and the traits of someone who's heroic. Resilience, persistence, having a go, being cheerful in the face of an obstacle instead of being the victim in the face of it, helping others and giving others a leg up when it's tough, even when you're not in the mood, doing what you've got to do even though it's inconvenient. They're heroic qualities, and they're all at the core side of the equation. None of these sit over the effect equation. No one's heroic whinging.
For myself, for example, I know I've come from not taking much responsibility to
I knew you would.
taking much more.
Way more.
For someone who is maybe new to this concept or wants to go more on the cause equation, how do they start?
Well, I think it's similar to the previous chat we had, which is mindfulness. Start being aware which side of the equation. There's actually great exercises around this that we provided for our members.
Yeah.
Be really clear and own what stories you tell. So wherever you're not getting a result, what's the story you're telling yourself? If you dump the story, what would you now do? And you now have to do something about it.
Love it.
Whatever the story is, my parents didn't, my school doesn't, you can't expect me, I've got this, I don't have that, you've got more, I haven't got enough, I've got to, whatever after the word I do it but, whatever after the word but, if you dump that, you're left with a void. What are you going to fill the void with? And I suggest for this to work, fill it with what you can control and influence, what you can turn around, what you can impact, where you can inspire yourself, what's a different decision you can make, what's a different action you can take, and that's enough. Let's not make it harder than it is.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So the shorthand is quit the whinging and start the acting.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I know that it's easy to say it and it's harder in application.
Sure.
You know, it's
how much do you want a great life?
Yeah.
That's it.
That's beautiful.
And I don't think there's any convincing or motivating anybody to be great for themselves. That has to come from within.
Yeah.
Self-love is a pursuit for the self. I can't come along and say to somebody, you should really love yourself more, get some resilience. It doesn't work that way. Someone's got to say, I am going to experience self-love, and this is the pathway to do that.
Yeah.
So my work here is done. We've made what it takes available. The person who's ready for self-love or ready to experience another level of self-love, this is what they'll do. And it doesn't all happen just because we say it. You know, how many times did you have to hear this? How many times did I have to hear this? It was like, oh yeah, it's a good point. I probably should I'll give that a go.
It really is up to me.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, is to let go of waiting to be rescued.
Yep.
There is no rescue. No one can be rescued from the pain they created for themselves. The negative self-talk, the drama, the dramatic emotions, the dysfunctional conversations, the blame game, the shame game, the guilt game, all of those things are self-created. No one can rescue us from that. We can talk about it with counsellors, we can get coached in it, but ultimately the choice is only ever with us to choose a different path. There is no rescue available, and nor could there be. How I think, no one can get in my head and remove the thought. It's up to me to make that choice. So we must engage our own rescue.
I think it's a very, I trust it's a very empowering thing to hear.
It's exciting.
That it's a decision.
I love that.
It's us.
Think how bad it would be if someone else would have to rescue us. So we're waiting to find the person, recognise the person, hope the person's existing, and they're in the mood to help us, that they help us in a way that we relate to.
If they never come.
And if they're ever going to turn up, or if we're busy doing something else.
Yep.
So to have it any other way would be to give up any chance of experiencing ourselves in a true magnificence. We could never know it. because we're waiting for somebody else to come along and ornate us.
Yeah.
And so you're ready for self-love. That's ridiculous. It has to come from here.
I love it. And this life hack, again, I'm probably going to say this with every single one, but they're just so valuable. And
I think they're a wonderful foundation for where we're heading together.
They really are.
Throughout the program.
They really are.
Get this stuff happening, and the rest is joyful flow, because this is the foundation of being an epic human being.
What you've just said is so important. I think that it's kind of like if you get this right, other things start to be a lot easier.
I agree. Yeah. Well, if we're a cause, if we're chasing our focus, if we're taking responsibility, the notion or the idea of having a go and backing ourselves seems much more doable. It's like, yeah, of course I back myself.
Yeah.
It's not a concept. I'm going to take responsibility for this. I'm going to choose a focus about what I can control and influence. I am going to decide right now to be a cause and dump the story. Well, all I'm left with is I'm going to go do something.
Yeah.
That's great. That's totally empowering.
Yeah. Much
It can be scary for like that long, and then the rest of it's like, yes, this is an opportunity. This is awesome. Yeah.
I love it. So for us to go ahead and to embrace this life hack right now, what should we embrace or bring with us to start?
Well, there's a great exercise that's been provided. That's already been done. Again, it's that bringing that mindfulness up and taking responsibility for what we tell ourselves about why we can't, who we blame for why we can't, who we want to shame into having to do something different for us to be able to. The ultimate being a cause is to realize there's nothing to forgive and give everybody a clean slate, including yourself. That's very powerful and very empowering. I remember doing that one day. And then people say, oh, how do you forgive? There is actually no instructions for forgive. It is simply choose to stop holding them for ransom mentally, emotionally, spiritually, psychically for the thing they did that you think they shouldn't have, or the thing they didn't do that you think they should have. That somehow your life will resolve if they repair the past, which can't be done. So just imagine the sorries were said, the forgiveness is there, the love is there, whether it's present to you in any form or not, assume it's all love and give yourself a fresh, clean start. It's the only way, because otherwise you're just dragging this baggage. You know, you're trying to move forward in the direction of your dreams. Yeah, but I've got to keep hold of all these insults. And I've got a luggage
I
here.
might need them one day.
Yeah, I've got this baggage load of blame here. You can't expect me to put that down. Let go of all the noise, the drama, the clatter, the conflicting voices that tell you you're owed a better life.
Yep.
No one's owed anything.
Yep.
The slate is clean. It's what you do with it from this moment forth. That's it.
My favourite thing about forgiveness is we can never run out of it.
Oh, I love that. And the ultimate gift when you forgive is the gift you give yourself.
Yeah.
You're the only one carrying the poison. They're not even thinking about it.
Yeah. Beautiful. I love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. That was
wonderful.
great.
Cool.